Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crocheting Coffee here, and today we're doing our whip and chat, so give it out whatever it is you're working on. Work along with me. I am working on the cute little fox from Run Far. I'm working on him. I know I'm supposed to be doing a color and chat today, but I literally do not have the brain power. Let me explain. Homeschooling. It's going. So this morning, which today is Monday, this morning I get up and I'm like, all right, cool. The kids are going to eat breakfast because Mr. Coffee found some kind of weird Minecraft cereal that looks like dog food with marshmallows in it. And I'm just like, what kind of cereal are they coming out with for these kids today? Like, it literally looks like dog food with marshmallows. And the kids are just like all excited for it. And I'm sitting there going, looking at the like ingredients. And I'm like, is this even classifiable as food? Like, what the hell is this? And they're just like, Mom, it's cool. It's Minecraft cereal. And I'm like, okay. At this point, they will put a Minecraft character on any box and call it food of some sort, and kids would eat it. Now, my kids are very picky eaters as it is. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, okay, yeah, this is going to go over well in the morning. Well, this morning they get up and they're both excited to try this new Minecraft cereal. Apparently there's some kind of game code in it or stuff. And also, why haven't these cereal companies come out with a Ziploc bag inside of the box? Asking for myself. Just to keep the food from going stale in the box, or, you know, things from crawling in it. If, you know, you got creepy crawlers, I'm just saying. So, like, I open the bag, and of course, you have to do that struggle with the bag where you're, like, trying to Incredible Hulk it without spilling the cereal all over the place. Yeah, that didn't work out well this morning. I had cereal all over the counter, but I was able to get some of it in the bowl. And I give it to Maggie, and Maggie looks at it. She goes, oh, Mommy, it's Minecraft. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's wonderful. It looks disgusting. All right, whatever. I'm like, you won't eat ribs. You won't eat baked mac and cheese. Now, y'all know I'm Southern, okay? I can't cook any of my Southern cuisine for my family because, one, it messes up Mr. Coffee's stomach. Two, the kids are just like, collard greens, ew. Makes me want to put them outside on the porch. So, I'm like, you won't eat baby back ribs. You won't eat baked mac and cheese. You won't eat collard greens. You won't eat cornbread. You won't eat, like, normal everyday foods. You will eat anything that has Minecraft character on it. I'm like, at this point, I'm going to learn how to draw all the Minecraft characters and shape all their food in Minecraft character form. So, like, Maggie gets the cereal first this morning because she gets up earlier than Orion because she starts school at 8:30, whereas Orion starts class at 9. So I get her up, get her dressed, get her, you know, sitting down. She goes to eat it, and she, like, takes 2 bites out of it, and she looks at me, and I'm like, how's that Minecraft? And she's like, Mommy, it's gross. Don't tell Daddy, but this is gross. It tastes like dog food. I'm like, I told you it looked like dog food. She spits it out all over the table. And I'm like, was that necessary? She's like, yes. It's gross. And I'm like, oh my God. So of course I make her clean it up because I'm not cleaning that up. She's 8 now. So yeah, so if you missed it, her birthday was over the weekend. Maggie turned 8. She's very excited to tell everybody that she turned 8. She told our mailman, she told the UPS guy, she told the FedEx guy, she told her Nana and Pawpaw. We had to call a bunch of people just so she can tell them that she's 8. Now, for Maggie's birthday, Maggie had decided that she told my parents what she wanted for her birthday, because my dad, of course, asked, you know, Maggie, what would you like for your birthday? And for those of you who don't know, there's a singer named Billie Eilish. Now, yes, my 8-year-old does listen to Billie Eilish. No, I don't want your parenting advice on it. Let me have this. So in one of Billie Eilish's videos, I think it's called You Should See Me in a Crown, Billie has a tarantula. And she has it, like, all in her mouth and stuff. Now, I like Billie Eilish's music. I don't have anything against it. I don't think it's anything, like, horrendous, you know, whatever. Sure, you know, a child of my child's age doesn't understand half the stuff that she's talking about, which is fine. But she likes the imagery behind her music. And so who am I to tell her, you know, no, you can't listen to that. It's not like she's listening to WAP or something. Like, if you don't know what that is, yeah, don't worry about it. Either way. So she told my parents that, and she had been talking about this for like a week or so. If you remember, well, my Patreons would know. She had talked about wanting a tarantula and a pet turtle. And I'm thinking, when I was younger, again, pet turtles, you didn't buy them. You just went outside to the creek and you just kind of found them. So I don't know nothing about buying no turtle. Two, they live for like 100 years. I don't want to have to take care of something longer than I'm going to have to take care of myself. So I'm like, yeah, no, we're not getting a turtle. And of course, she was all upset because she wants a turtle. And I'm like, I want world peace, but I guess we both ain't going to get what we want, are we? So I'm sitting there, and my dad calls, and he's like, what does Maggie want for her birthday? I don't freaking know. So he asked Maggie, Maggie Pie, what would you like for your birthday? So she tells him, I would like a tarantula and a turtle. And my dad is just kind of sitting there like, okay. And I'm like, what do you mean, okay? Now, you have to remember, this is Paw now. So, like, yeah. So I'm sitting here, and Pawpaw's like, okay, found it. And I'm like, found what? He goes, the tarantula and the turtle. Got it. Good. And she's like, I want puzzles and Barbies. And so she just, like, starts spewing out a list of stuff that she wants. But by the time she finished with the list, my dad had already purchased what he was getting her for her birthday. And, of course, my parents just moved to Alabama, so, like, they're in the middle of packing, so he couldn't stay on the phone with her forever like she wanted to. So they, went on about their merry way. I completely forgot about it because of, stroke brain. So I'm sitting there, and packages come at my door again. Now, we were outside trying to fix the radio in my car. For those of you who don't know, the radio in my SUV stopped working. I have a Toyota Highlander with a navigation system. Well, it stopped working last February. And so the radio itself just went kaput like maybe a month or so ago. So I've been without a radio in my car. Well, we bought a radio and it didn't work, obviously. Of course. Why would it? Why would anything work out? Do you ever have those times where you get really excited about something and it doesn't work out, and you immediately go to that place in your mind where you're like, of course it didn't work out. Nothing ever works out for me. Of course not. That's where my brain went when that happened, because it was one of those really cool tablet-like radios. And of course, for some reason, it just did not work in my car. Like the motherboard of something like that was messed up in it. It was a defected radio. And I'm like, of course it was, because I always get the defected stuff. So we were worried about that, and then we come back inside and there's a bunch of packages sitting in front of the door. And of course, Mr. Coffee yet again looks at me, and I'm like, look, I didn't buy anything, I swear. He goes, if people are companies sending you stuff again? I'm like, that could be a thing. I think so. I have like 4 companies trying to send me stuff right now, so I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to keep track of all this stuff. So we bring all the boxes inside and realize that 2 of them are from my parents. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, Maggie's birthday comes on Saturday, and she sees the big box from my parents, and she's like, oh my gosh, Mommy, can I open that first? All right, cool. So she goes to open it, and she pulls out a big, plushy, soft velour turtle. She's in love with her turtle. His name is Franklin. She immediately, like, loved on the turtle, and she's like, oh, Mommy, I'm going to cuddle him tonight when I go to sleep. I love him. And I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad you like your turtle. And my dad's like, are you going to look in the rest of the box? And she pulls out some puzzles, and she's like, oh, puzzles! And she's all excited because her new big thing is, I think it was Robin, one of my subscribers, sent her a puzzle. It was like a 100-piece puzzle, and I'm thinking that's going to be too hard for her. Nope, she got it together, no problem, within like 30 minutes. So she's been like on this puzzle kick. Well, my parents bought her 3 more puzzles, so she was super excited about that. But then we noticed that there was one other thing in the box, and I'm sitting there like, okay, what's this other thing in the box here? I see it. My brain didn't register it at first. She goes to reach for it, and she's like looking back, laughing at something Orion's saying or doing. She pulls it out of the box. You guys, I swear, I watched my daughter's face go white, okay? She pulls it out of the box, and you just slowly see the fear run across her face. She screams and takes off. Meanwhile, everybody's kind of just looking like, what the hell did she just pull out of the box? It wasn't a turtle, I'm sorry. It was a tarantula. It wasn't real. It's a remote control tarantula, okay? Now, I don't mind spiders. They kill the flies, and I don't have to worry about flies, so I don't mess with the spiders. That's their way of paying rent, is that they kill the flies, okay? And I'll take that. I'll take it. But yeah, so I'm sitting there, and I look up, and I go, holy what is that? It's a tarantula. So she comes back, and she was scared at first of it, and then she realized exactly. When it had time, I guess, to marinate and process in her brain, she was just like, oh, it's a spider. I'm like Billie Eilish. And I'm like, oh yeah, because you know, Billie Eilish is just some chick with a spider. That's fine. That's what she sees herself as. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? All right, cool. She's happy. I'm happy. Everybody's happy. She got her spider. Of course, Mr. Coffee just is sitting there like laughing because he thinks it's hilarious. Orion's scared because he's scared of bugs. Maggie, on the other hand, is just like, I got a spider. I got a spider. And then Mr. Coffee's like, well, let me see it. Let me see if we need batteries in it. I'll put batteries in it. He goes and puts batteries in it. Well, if you're on my Instagram, you would have saw Maggie decided to terrorize everybody with this flipping spider. So, first victim, Daisy. Now, a lot of people were like, oh, Daisy's so cute. She's so patient with Maggie. Y'all have to remember, Daisy has been around since Maggie was 4 years old when all the madness started. So, Daisy is used to Maggie's shenanigans. So, when she's sitting there and she's running the spider into Daisy's foot, Daisy just kept kicking it away. And I'm like, well, let's see how Killian reacts to it. Killian sees it. He looks at it. He farts. He turns around and just walks away. He gives 0 foxes were given that day, okay? Killian was just like, nope, I'm gone. And I'm just sitting there like, okay. And then when she realized that her brother was scared of it, she then starts chasing him through the house with it. And she's like yelling like, best birthday ever. And I'm like, that's wonderful. I'm so happy you're glad to, you know, chase your brother and terrorize him with your spider. Now, I knew this was going to bite me in the behind at some point in time. But I'm sitting there and they're told to go to bed. And me and Mr. Coffee are just sitting here talking like we normally do after they go to bed. We're trying to figure out what we're doing for the rest of the week, how we're going to get me to record my whipping chat, because I didn't want him in my whipping chat this week. Why? Because he distracts me. So I was just like, you know, well, maybe you can go to the post office for me because I had some Patreon gifts that I wanted to send out. So if you are a Patreon and you saw me post the gifts, please send me a message in Patreon with your address so that I can get your gift mailed out to you. The next set of gifts will be sent out on Monday because, yeah, international shipping is expensive right now. So I'm going to wait until Monday. So yeah, so her birthday went out over without a hitch. Like, she had a great time. We cleaned up I cleaned up the house. I cleaned up the house and I set up my new Cricut maker. Now, I had the Cricut maker before, but the one I had apparently was defective, as of course it is, because everything I get is defective. So I'm sitting there and I put away a bunch of stuff and I make room for the Cricut maker, and Mr. Coffee's just like, well, now you have all 3 machines. What are you going to do with them? I'm like, well, I'm going to use them. If I need to do, because I have the Cricut Explorer sitting next to me and then the Cricut Maker sitting in front of me. So the Cricut Explorer is on the bookshelf that sits behind me, which if you saw on Instagram also on Saturday, when I was finished cleaning, I did a little mini tour of my workspace so that you guys got an idea of where I work. I think a lot of people were shocked because they were like, oh my God, like most creators have like a whole room dedicated to their craft section. I don't. I am what you would call a ballin' on a budget crafter, meaning I don't have a craft space. I don't have a craft room. I don't have a craft area. I have my spot on the couch that I like to sit. And then that's where my crafting happens. Sorry, I'm trying to turn this drill around. So I shared that with you guys, and I showed you where I put the Explorer and everything else. And Mr. Coffee's just sitting there looking at me, and he goes, well, what are we going to do for your, video on Tuesday? And I'm like, well, you are going to run to the post office for me. Y'all, I have like 55 packages I have to mail out. So I sent him today with at least 10 of them because I don't want to overrun the post office. Like, I don't want to show up at 9 o'clock and not have to leave until 11 because I'm taking and sending off so many packages. So he's at the post office right now with Maggie while I record. And then when I finish recording, I have to walk the dogs, come back, make dinner, and then get ready for the rest of the evening. So it's going to be a busy day. But let me tell you about homeschooling today. Homeschooling today went great at first. So apparently homeschooling went great up until we got to the reading part. Maggie was fine. She was like, Mommy, I got this. I want to do it by myself. And I'm very proud of her because she's getting to that point where she's getting more independent and she doesn't want me hovering over her the entire time. Plus, when I hover, she doesn't tend to get as much work done. So I was like, well, I'm going to sit over here. I'm part of Rachel Ray's Patreon. So on Monday morning, she puts up a little Patreon video for her Patreons. So I was like, all right, cool, sweet. And I wanted to rewatch the Jeremy Frier's Patreon video because he just got a hooded sweatshirt from Bittersweet Paris, which is the place that sells the authentic JoJo's Arts hoodies that you see Rachel Ray and I and now Jeremy wearing. So I wanted to see that again because I was watching it, or I watched it once, but I didn't really get to like fully watch it. I was more so watching it than listening to it. So I was going to get ready to watch that again. So I had my headphones in. And I'm just kind of sitting in her room. And then I'm like, oh, crap, I haven't had my coffee today. So I'll go run and make my coffee, come back, and I go to sit down. And she goes, I'm like, do you need help? Do you need mommy? Because I'm a helicopter parent. I am aware that I'm a helicopter parent. I'm okay with this. And she's like, no, Mommy, I don't need your help. I am fine. Go away. And I did a little Instagram reel on it where she's telling me to shoo, go away, go away. Why is it that children wait until the moment that you sit your tuchus on the couch before they go, I'm going to sit on the couch? Mommy, I need your help. Y'all, I literally, like my kneecaps had bent and I go to sit and she's like, Mom. Like, I'm like, I literally just left your room. What could you possibly need help with in the 30 seconds since I left your room? Like, seriously. So, I get back in there. And she has a slew of spelling words this week. She has 12, which usually she only has like, I don't know, 8 or 9. But this week she has 12. I want to use my other tray because this one is making me mad right now. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, and don't worry, if you see the trays and you're like, oh my God, where you get the trays? I'll link them. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, cool. Let me go ahead and, hold on, where was I? We're homeschooling. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and help her with her homework real quick. So I go to help her with her homework and she has 12 spelling words. So I was like, all right, cool. Did you write your definitions? And she said, yep. She shows me her definitions. Now, Maggie still has that little kid handwriting that they write real chunky. I don't know why that is. Does anybody have a kid that doesn't write like this? Like, I'm asking for myself. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, you got your spelling words, you got your words, and you should be, they do games with their spelling words. So I was like, you should be able to handle the games by yourself. And she goes, but Mommy, this one I don't understand. And I'm like, well, what is it that you're not understanding? Because I'm thinking to myself, you have the answer sitting right in front of you. What could you possibly not be understanding about this? Well, apparently what she wasn't understanding was the fact that it had the word hamper, like a dirty clothes hamper. So if you're in the States, I don't know what do they call a hamper in the UK? Put that down in the comment sections. So I look at it and I'm like, okay, hamper. And the definition says, it has a lid and you put your dirty clothes in it. And I'm thinking to myself, one, neither hamper in my house has a lid to it. So I'm feeling some kind of way. Like apparently I'm not adulting correctly because my hamper doesn't have a top to it or a lid. Like I know they make them with lids and stuff, but the ones I have, no, they don't have lids. So I was just like, okay. Well, in her little game, it was like to mess with or fiddle with something. And I'm thinking, well, hold up, what? And I'm like, well, Maggie, wouldn't that be the word fiddle? Because fiddle was one of her spelling words. And she goes, no, Mom, I already tried that. I'm smart enough to figure that one out. And I'm like, well, I'm aware of this, Tootsie, but to mess with something, to touch something essentially was fiddle, which was her other spelling word. And she's like, no, Mom, it's not fiddle. And I'm like, you're joking because it's literally fiddle. Y'all, we went back and forth for about 20 minutes about the word fiddle. It wasn't fiddle. It was hamper. And I'm like, what the hell does that have to do? What does hamper have to do with touching something and messing with something? That's not even the right. I had to call her teacher because, of course, he disappears at 1 o'clock like a fart in the wind. So I have to email him. And I'm like, hey, Mr. B, look, listen. You might want to check this app because they are 100% wrong. And then after getting her spelling words, and we finally figured that out, that debacle after 20 minutes, I then go and I'm like, all right, fine. We're going to go work on some math while we're waiting for Mr. B to come back because she had 2 assignments for math that were due today. Wrong. I was like, okay. So we go in and he tells us, make sure you do the 2 assignments that are due today. All right, cool. I got you. I got this all day. I got this. Yo, why did we finish the 2 assignments in 30 minutes? I was so proud. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, we're going to be done early today. Oh God. Because of course, Orion's done at like noon. So he's just like, Mom, can I go in my room and do something? I'm like, yeah, go do something. Away, go. Because, at this point, I'm going to start seeing if they have a liquor subscription service because I'm going to need it. Anybody know if they have a Captain Morgan tap anywhere? Because, again, I'm going to need it. So I'm sitting there, minding my own fat girl business, trying to sneak and get a snack. And she's like, Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, oh, here we go with this. Now, Maggie, like her mommy, she hates math. I'm not a math person. If you're a math person, then you're an evil wizard and we can't be friends. And I'm waiting for somebody to be like, well, Miss Coffee, I'm a math teacher. There's always one. There's always one. Don't be a math teacher. In a world where you can be anything, don't be a math teacher. I'm just joking. Be a math teacher. Be a math tutor for that matter and come tutor me in math because I suck at it. Unless you put a dollar sign in front of it and then I got you all day. Anyways, so I'm sitting there minding my own crafty business and I was getting ready to get a fig Newton bar and I can't get them around Maggie because then she wants one. So I go in her room and I'm like, well, what's the problem? Why are you now all of a sudden not wanting to do your work? Like we just finished the last 2 assignments and I had some stuff I needed to get done and some packages I need to get sealed up to get ready to ship out. So I was like, well, what's the problem here? Like, I'm not understanding what's going on. And she's like, Mom, it says I have 6 more assignments due today. I'm sorry. Say what? I'm sorry. You would have thought that computer cursed at me as hard as I slapped that computer. I was like, give me this computer. I like slapped the side of it to grab it. And I ended up slapping it off her table. Now, this is the school's computer, so don't tell them that I was abusing their stuff. But I did. I slapped the piss out of that computer. It's like, what the hell? I look at the work, and it literally said earlier when we logged in that she had 2 assignments due today, 2 assignments due tomorrow, 2 assignments due Wednesday. No. They all changed that they were all due today. Apparently, they'll be doing 8 math assignments a day. Each math assignment is about 15 minutes long. I sat there and I'm like, look, I know my daughter's in 2nd grade and she probably should be okay with all of this. And there are children in her class that have been asking the teacher for more work because they don't think they're getting enough work. And I'm like, look here, little Billy, shut up, okay? This is too much work for me. And just because you're a smarty pants doesn't mean everybody in the class is a smarty pants, okay? Don't be tacking on more work than I already have to do with this poor child, okay? Like, seriously, what's wrong with you? But it's great that child wanted to do extra work, but it wasn't great for me because mentally I was ready to kick a small child in the throat. So I'm listening to him, like this one little kid, tell the teacher that he wants more work. And I'm like, shut up, kid. I don't need any more work on my plate right now. I got enough stuff to do. I got to record videos and work on packages and everything else, which, by the way, if you get a package from me and you get this little thing in it that looks like a t-shirt, that I've started making the magnets for the t-shirts. And what that is you stick it, it's magnetic, obviously. You stick it to your washer so you know the care instructions of the shirt that you got. So if you somehow win a shirt or you're on Patreon and you just happen to get a shirt, it's for that. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, Mr. B, look, listen, we can't do all this work. There's no way in the world. I've already lost Maggie, okay? Maggie has a short attention span. Does she have ADHD? They say no, but I want to have her tested for dyslexia because I do believe she has a touch of dyslexia, which is fine, but I just want to make sure that they know this because Maggie is developmentally delayed by a little bit. By like a year or so, I want to say. So, like, she's not as fast as the rest of the kids in the class. She's just now grasping the concept of reading. So she still struggles, but for the most part, she can do it on her own, but she still has struggle words. And mostly it's words with B's and D's and S's and C's and stuff like that. That, and we fight all the time about whenever we're reading something and she goes, Mom, why does C and K sound alike? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't make the alphabet. And she goes, well, where's Jesus? Because he made the alphabet, and if he's going to make the alphabet, why would he make two of the letters sound the exact same? It's confusing when I do my spelling work. I'm like, well, you tell Jesus the next time he decides to make alphabets that he doesn't include two letters that sound the exact same. She goes, I don't know whether it's karate with a K or karate with a C. I'm like, karate's with a K. Well, what makes it so special that it gets a K? What, did they have too many words that started with C? I'm like, I don't know. Like, we literally, this is the conversation we have every freaking time it's time for her to do anything with reading or alphabets or anything. And she's just like, I don't understand. Like, she's like, why is it knife? Why isn't it knife? And I'm like, I don't know, Maggie. Like, I'm just here to be emotional support to you while you do your work. I do not make the rules, okay? I make the rules after school is over. During school hours, I'm not your mom, I'm your tutor. And I suck at my job. And she's like, yeah, because you can't even do math. We have to wake up daddy. And I'm like, you know what? I'll drop kick you out this window, you little kid. Like, don't mess with me. Like, I don't know what it is about Maggie and always wanting to, like, she always wants, like, her dad to do everything for her. So she's just like, I'll just get daddy to do it. You know what? Fine, get daddy to do it. And then meanwhile, Mr. Coffee's just sitting over here like, hold up, what am I being volunteered to do? I'm like, well, apparently you can do this better than me, so you go right ahead. But when it comes time to making food, no. Now, I don't know how everybody else is with their toast. Like, so write this down in the comment section. How do you butter your toast? Do you eat butter toast? If you do eat butter toast, how do you have it? So one morning, Maggie decided she wanted buttered toast for breakfast. Not a problem. You know, toaster and butter and go about your business. No, Mr. Coffee apparently doesn't spread the butter correctly. So essentially you get a mouthful of butter whenever you get like he makes buttered bread. And I'm like, have you never buttered bread before? Like, what is wrong with you? He's like, I've buttered bread. I'm like, it doesn't look like it. Like, we're fighting over how to butter bread. And I'm like, you have to put a thin layer over the top. And that's only if the bread is still warm, because then it melts the butter so that you're not eating clumps of butter. And he's like, no, I just like spreading it in the middle of the bread and then just closing it up and eating it. And I'm like, no wonder your cholesterol's so high. Jeez, like, you're just eating straight up butter. You might as well just take a spoon to the butter container and have at it. Anywho. But she won't let him make her food. But everything else, Daddy needs to do for her. Daddy needs to do all the things for her. Meanwhile, Daddy's trying to do all the things for himself. And he's like, I can't get a break. Oh, I don't know anything about that. I don't know what that feels like at all. I've never experienced that a day in my life. Never have. No, sir. Never been overwhelmed ever. So yeah. Last week was also fun because I didn't have my insomnia meds for a couple of days. Oh yeah, those couple of days were real far out. They were real groovy. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if anybody else takes medicine for insomnia. I'm pretty sure a lot of us do. If you don't get those meds, I don't know about anybody else, but then I'm up for days. Like 2-3 days, I will just stay up. And I can't go to bed. I can't go to bed because if I do, I get angry at my husband. Like, does anybody else do that? Like, you go to bed and your husband's sleeping peacefully, and I think I've asked this question before, where your spouse can lay down and immediately fall asleep, but it takes you hours to fall asleep. But you look at them, and instead of looking at them all endearingly, like, oh my God, he's so handsome when he's sleeping. I love him so much. You look at him like, the hell you looking so happy while you sleeping for? You don't look happy while you sleep. You look angry while you sleep, because some of us can't get sleep. Now you're just going to start snoring. I don't understand the process in this. Why is this a thing? Like, I will literally have fights with him in my head while he's sleeping. This is why I didn't want him here. All right. Sorry about that. Mr. Coffee is at Walmart playing with Maggie in the toy section, apparently, to keep her preoccupied. I'm actually very proud of the way Maggie's been handling school this year. It's been really stressful on both of us, but she's been handling it like a champ. Like, she can handle mommy, like, fussing at her and making sure she gets her work done. And she gets so, like, excited whenever she's done with her day. And then she's so exhausted by the end of the day. She's ready to go, usually to go to bed at 7. But I make her stay up because, of course, if I make her stay up, then she'll go directly to sleep when it's time to go to bed. Because at time to go to bed, that is the time when the kids are like, this is the best time for us to actually get along and play nicely together and only do nice things together and just do them together and just be in harmony together. because then mommy and daddy will be happy that we're playing nicely together, because they're always telling us to play nicely together. And we're going to wait until bedtime to play nicely together, because that's the only time I ever want to play nicely with you ever. That is I picture in my head, that is the dialogue that children have, because apparently my kids hate each other all day until bedtime. And then they are just the biggest giggle boxes and just, ah, ha, 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 look, Orion, toothpaste. Like, I swear they just put toothpaste on the toothbrush, swish it around in their mouth for a few minutes, get a sip of water, and then just spit it all over the counter, the sink, the floor, just a mirror. And I'm like, how is it that you're supposed to be brushing your teeth, but there's toothpaste in the hallway on the floor? Like, you ever find like items like in your brain, you're like, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things should not be here. And it's usually something stupid like toothpaste in my house, or toilet paper. Maggie will apparently, when she goes to the potty, she will grab the toilet paper roll, pull as much of it off as she possibly can, and then take 3 squares of it, use the 3 squares. The other stuff is just hanging. Luckily, I don't have cats, because cats would just go after it. The dogs, they don't go in the bathroom. So, like, I'm just sitting there like, oh, okay, you know, why is it that every time I turn around, there's like toilet paper strung out all over the floor? Like, you would think she was turning herself into a mummy. Like, oh, good God. So, yeah, but I'm actually really proud of how she's been handling homeschool. She's been doing a really good job. She's doing a lot better than I thought she would. And again, I'm a helicopter parent, so I'm always going to think the worst and hope for the best. So, like, I will hover over both kids, and I'm just like, look, listen, mommy's going to make sure you get your stuff done. We're going to make sure we get it done right the first time. We're going to explain things that we don't understand so that we can get this done and be done with it. Oh, and the reason I started the fox is because I had already started him. And I literally, my brain today, I can't even. This morning, I punched Mr. Coffee in the face. Look, I didn't mean to, and I apologize so profusely. And that's one of the reasons why it's also very late that I'm recording, because I woke him up. Okay, let me explain to you what happened. Y'all remember me telling you just a little bit ago that Maggie got a tarantula for her birthday, and how she's been terrorizing her brother with it? Well, it's not just her brother, it's everyone. Everyone. Okay, well, I didn't punch him in the face this morning. That was yesterday morning. So I'm sitting here, minding my own business. Okay. Oh, my arm got stuck in the glue. I'm sitting here minding my own business. And okay, sorry, Mr. Coffee is like, now Maggie apparently is asking for toys. Anyways, so we're sitting here Saturday night and we're talking, and you know, it gets really late and I've been trying to go to bed early. It's been failing miserably. It's hard to get back on a sleep schedule whenever, like, I did finally get my pills. The ones in the mail showed up today. And so I had my doctor call some into the pharmacy, because at this point I had went 2 days without sleeping, and I don't like not sleeping because it makes me a little stir crazy. So, but if nothing else, my house was immaculately clean. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, well, we should get to bed. I'm tired. It's like 4 a.m. I can see like the outside starting to brighten up a little bit. So it's a little bit later than 4. And so we go, and I'm like sitting there like, oh, okay, well, let's go to bed. We go to bed. Didn't think anything of it. Of course, we're going to sleep in because it's the weekend and everybody has off. So we're not waking up early. I do not wake up early on the weekends. Usually on the weekends, the kids get up at 11 o'clock. Okay. So like they will come wake us up and they're like, Mommy, Daddy, it's time to get up. Let's start the day. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet, whatever. I don't mind sleeping in. My kids have always been really sleepy kids. They've slept through the night since they were home from the hospital. I was very, very lucky in that manner, because I would stay up all night, like listening to them breathe and stuff. Like, I'm that type of helicopter parent. Like, I don't know if anybody else did that to their babies when they were little, but I would literally stay up and watch them breathe, because I was so afraid they were going to, like, you know, turn over awkwardly or smother themselves. So I would stay up and just watch them like breathe, and then complain about being tired all day. Like I didn't grasp the concept that I should sleep with them until I had Maggie. And then Maggie would wear me out so much from ripping and running so much, that I literally would just pass out. Like, I was like one of the kids, you know, it was like, oh, look, it's 2 o'clock, and I would just fall where I was standing, and I would just go to sleep. So we sleep in on the weekends, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, it's the weekend. It's you know, we're going into Sunday. I don't have anything to do. I'm going to spend the entire day making Patreon gifts. And I did. I literally spent the entire day making shirts, canvases, tote bags, cup cozies, all the 9 yards for the Patreons. I got no crafting done. I still have to do the video on how to seal that storage box that I got from FG Normal, which they want to send me out more stuff. And I'm like, how much more stuff can y'all possibly send me? Good God, I think they get the hint. You got lots of good snack stuff. Like, if you're going to keep sending it, I'll show it. But good God, I'm going to try to space it out for you guys because apparently, like, they're just like, oh my God, you did such a great job. Will you do it again? Can we wait a week or two? Like, can a sister get a break? Anyways, so I'm laying in bed. And I hear something. And I'm like, okay, what is that noise? Now, I'm asleep. But in my sleep, because I'm not a heavy sleeper, I could hear something. And I'm like, what is that noise? I'm thinking it's Mr. Coffee because if anything, I'm going to wake up. And I've had numerous dreams where, you ever have a weird dream about your spouse and you kind of look at them funny when you wake up? I had a dream that Mr. Coffee was a robot. And this isn't weird in my house. Like, to you, you're probably, like, sitting there dying laughing because you're like, oh, my God, Miss Coffee, why is your husband a robot? Because my husband wants to lose an appendage so he can get robo-arms and robo-legs and Wi-Fi model heart pacers. And I'm like, I don't think that's a thing, nor do I think that exists. And I tell him that he needs to do something because every time he walks in the house, the internet speeds just go down drastically. Like, every device that he has just drains the crap out of our internet. So he always talks about he wants to be a Wi-Fi model of something. Like, he wants his body donated to science so that he can be the first person ever to experience what it's like to have, like, Wi-Fi limbs. And I'm like, I don't think that's how that, you know what, whatever. You do your thing. And who am I to discourage his hopes and dreams, right? Right. So I'm sitting there, and I keep hearing this noise in my sleep. And I'm like, what the is this noise? It's starting to irritate the piss out of me at this point. So I'm like, all right. I got to figure out what this noise is. All right, sorry about that again. Mr. Coffee, he's out of the house and he don't know how to handle it, y'all. He don't know how to handle it. So I'm sitting there and I'm hearing the mechanical noise and I'm thinking, okay. And then of course my brain turns it into, your husband's a robot. Wake up. You're going to have to be laying next to a cyborg. I wake up, or I slowly open my eyes because I'm just like, whatever it is, it's just going to kill me. Like, you ever been so tired that you hear noises in your house and you're like, whatever it is, kill me. I'm too tired to care. I was at that point of sleep and I was finally actually sleeping and I kept hearing this nyeh, 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 and I'm like, what the hell is that noise? Well, I feel something on my face and I go to swat it because I'm thinking, okay, a fly has gotten into the house somehow and now it's buzzing, because there's nothing worse than that noise that a fly makes when it flies right by your ear. Oh my God, kill me now. I can't stand it. And so I thought it was something like that. So I go whack whatever it is and I realized it was really rough. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then I'm thinking, okay, it's one of the dogs. Because I'm thinking, okay, it's probably Daisy because of the way the fur felt on whatever that was I touched. It was kind of rough and Daisy's fur is kind of bristly. So I was like, what the is this? Y'all, why did I wake up? I'm not even joking, okay? I woke up. The tarantula that Maggie just got for her birthday was in my face, in my retina, staring me down like we were getting ready to have a showdown of fisticuffs, okay? I'm about to have fisticuffs with a fake tarantula. In my mind, the tarantula was real. I was in Australia because I've heard that they get big spiders. I'm like going Crocodile Dundee. I go to jump up, but when I jump up, I smack my hand on the bed, thinking, because I'm still half asleep now, thinking I'm hitting the spider. I smack the piss out of Mr. Coffee. I jump up, I grab my little knife that I unbox stuff with, and I'm sitting there in my underwear with the knife, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill it! And Mr. Coffee thinks I'm like doing it at him because he can't see because I've shifted all the stuff in the bed, so the pillow and stuff is blocking the spider. He just sees the knife. He thinks, now, okay, all right. I suffered a lot of childhood trauma as a kid, so I do have I don't like calling it PTSD, but apparently it's a form of PTSD from my childhood. And he thought I was having an episode because, you know, I got a lot of issues, y'all. Y'all just don't know. Miss Coffee ain't all there. One day I'll get it together, not today, but one day. So he's assuming that I'm having an episode from that. And he's like, hun, you're okay. It's all right. I'm right here. It's okay. You're not by yourself. He's like trying to comfort me. And I'm like, no, F this. I'm killing it. I'm killing it. He thinks I'm killing him. He goes to get up and sees the spider. He jumps. Now, okay, I don't know how your body works like this. Now, if you guys don't know, Mr. Coffee has a bad back, okay? He jumps, but he's not standing up straight in bed. He's like getting ready to lean up. So he's half leaned up. He's still sitting on his butt, but somehow he jumps and flies into the wall because he sees the giant spider. Neither one of us know what's going on. And I'm yelling, I'm going to stab it. I'm going to stab it. He jumps up, hits the wall, stands up and is like, ow, my back. What the hell is that? I'm like, it's a spider. Meanwhile, where's Maggie, you might be asking? Maggie is in the doorway of our room laughing. She's getting her 20 chuckles in because she just scared the piss out of mommy and daddy. Now look, listen, today's word of the day, the piss out of. Use it in a sentence. I smacked the piss out of something. Yeah, just use it in a sentence. You'll thank me later. I almost pissed my pants because I was scared to death because this giant thing was going to take me away to a dark place and murder me. So I'm huffing and puffing. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but one, I'm not exactly like a size 4, okay? Matter of fact, I think I'm like a size 12. Anyways, so whenever I wake up, if I wake up and I'm jolted out of my sleep, I immediately get a pressure migraine. I always told the doctor, I'm like, I don't think it's a migraine, so to say, because of, having whatever going on up there. I'm like, I think it's just because I'm overweight. Now, you're probably thinking overweight. You're not overweight. No, technically for my height and size, I should be, I'm right where I should be, but in my mind, I'm overweight. I'm okay with it. Don't worry about it. I'm okay with it. I think I still look good for my age. I got this. That, and let me tell you about that story. So I'm sitting there and I see Maggie in the doorway. I drop the knife. I'm huffing and puffing. Mr. Coffee starts yelling at Maggie, of course, because she's, laughing and giggling. Where's Orion? In his own crafty little world in his room. He's just sitting in his room watching TV. He hears all this commotion going on. Doesn't even bother to check on us. He's just like, oh, they got it. I ask him why he doesn't check on us, and he goes, Mommy, because you're the scariest thing in this house. What am I going to do? Oh, you know what? All right. I can't even fault him for it because, there's been numerous times where I've thought people were breaking into our house because we did have a break-in when we lived in Pennsylvania, and that's why I now conceal and carry. And there's been times where he's woken up and I'm standing there with the gun, like, go back to your room, like looking like Elmer Fudd in the ghetto or something. Like, go back to your room. I'm sitting there with my hair bonnet on and my long sleep shirt with a gun pointing at the door because I thought I hear something, and here's usually like a cat or something stupid. So, like, to him, I'm the scariest thing in the house. So he's just like, yeah, what am I going to do about it? You're the one that's scary. So, like, what do you expect me to do? And I'm thinking to myself, he's right. Yeah, what did I really expect my 9-year-old son to do? He goes, I could do some sweet judo moves. I'm like, yeah, please do that, because we paid for all that judo for you to cry every day because your sister's beating you up. So yeah, so it was that was the weekend. It was rough, y'all. It was rough. Now getting back to this whole age thing. So right after the day after my birthday, which my birthday just passed as well. In our house, it goes Orion's first, then Minna, then me, then Maggie, then Mr. Coffee. So Mr. Coffee's birthday is coming up next. The other reason why I didn't want him here. He raised enough money in that live. So I've been actually tallying up what he made in that live where you guys did the Ugly Truck Fund. And anytime somebody did a super chat for Ugly Truck Fund, I actually put that money away. Mr. Coffee's birthday is November 5th. If you know the movie V for Vendetta, it's a big deal in our house because November 5th is Mr. Coffee's birthday, and he hates government. He hates politics, he hates government, all the whole 9 yards. So it's the V for Vendetta thing's a huge thing in my house. So for his birthday, Mr. Coffee will be getting the fender flares he's been wanting for his truck because they were about $200. Now, of course, I think he made more than $200. I don't have the note thing right in front of me because I hide it so he can't see it. It's one of the reasons why I didn't want to tell him, because I knew if I told him he was getting the fender flares, he would be asking me. He's like a little kid when he gets stuff. He just he keeps nagging you about it until he gets it. And then he would have tried to get it early. And we already suck at gifts. I don't know if anybody else is like this, but we suck at giving gifts. We'll buy each other something and want to surprise each other. And we can't hold our excitement in very long. And then we ended up just giving it to the person early. Which is another reason, well, besides the fact that I pretty much like took it out of his hand, is one of the reasons why I got the Cricut Joy before my birthday instead of on my birthday. So yeah. So he's going to be getting the fender flares for his birthday. So I'm super excited to give those to him. Let's see what number. Oh, we have two number 24s. What about number 23 is J. We can do J. Yeah, because I don't want to stay on here too much longer. I'm going to give it like 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to have to peace out because he's going to be home with Maggie soon. He took Maggie just so she wasn't like annoying Orion. She's been like up Orion's butt for like the past couple of days because she's excited because she's older. Either way, let's get back to my birthday. So or the day after my birthday, I should say, I was walking outside. Now I have this pair of shorts that I don't wear too often. I have nice legs, okay? I have like Tina Turner legs in my head. I'm pretty sure in real life I have Slimer legs, but in my head I have Tina Turner legs, okay? And if you don't know who Tina Turner is, what have you been doing with your life? Look her up. Tina Turner. So I wear these little shorts, and they're like booty shorts, okay? That's what they are. Well, Mr. Jerry had a package for me, which is, of course, my mailman. He had a package for me, and of course, I go out to get the package, and one of my neighbors was backing his car up to put it in the garage. I totally just put that in the wrong spot. So as he's backing his car up to put it in the garage, he sees me. I see him see it, like look at me because he waves. Now he's backing up. He waves at me. I wave back at him because, you know, I don't mind waving at my neighbors. I don't know them, but I'll wave at them. I waved at the guy. Meanwhile, I turn back around. Like in that 30 seconds it took me to turn my head back around to watch where I'm going, he apparently backs into the garages because right in front of my house, right in front of the apartment complex that I live in is the garage. Now, the garage essentially is just like they have rows of apartments right in front of the apartments. Like okay, so here we go. Here's my apartment. Here's a row of garages. Oh, you can't even see that. What am I doing? Okay, here's my apartment. Here's a row of garages, and then here's the apartments on the other side of the street, okay? So he's backing up, and I'm walking the sidewalk to go to the mailbox. He's backing up and backs right into the corner of the garage, collapsing part of the garage and tearing up the back end of his car. Meanwhile, Mr. Coffee was walking out because he was going to my car to put that stereo in. He sees what happens and goes, I told you not to wear those shorts out here. I'm like, look, listen, it is not my fault that man was not paying attention, okay? I can wear whatever the hell I want to wear outside. Last time I checked, I'm a grown-ass woman. Yeah, so apparently I made the guy run into the garage. It was a whole thing. Like, the cops were called, and apparently he got hit with a DUI because he had been drinking with his friends and was just... He brought his, like, classic car out to show his friends, and I'm pretty sure he didn't expect his night to end with him hitting a garage and then being arrested for DUI for parking his car. So yeah, don't drink and drive, folks. So yeah, that was like my birthday shenanigans. But yeah, for Maggie's birthday we did have a good day. She is in love with her tarantula. She scared the piss out of us with it. She's terrorizing her brother with it. It was funny because I was talking to Rachel Ray and Becky on Sunday while I was making shirts and stuff, and Maggie wanted to show Miss Becky and Miss Clover, which is what she calls Rachel Ray. She wanted to show Miss Becky and Miss Clover her spider. Becky just kind of looks at it and she's just like, ew. Rachel's like, oh God, I can't look at it. I can't. I'm like, oh my God, it's just a fake spider. Like, it's not even real. It's all right. And she goes, is it gone? It's gone, Rachel. It's gone. I promise. Maggie's like, I'm like Billie Eilish. I'm 8. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Billie Eilish at this point is like 18, but okay, whatever. She loves Billie Eilish. That's her thing. And, you know, she likes music, and Billie Eilish is her cup of tea. So I don't mess with her when it comes to the whole Billie Eilish thing. So yeah, so then last night, we were sitting here and Mr. Coffee was just like, you know, how many more shirts and stuff do you have to make? And I'm like, not a whole lot, but I need to find a box because one of my subscribers asked for a cup, or one of my Patreons. and I don't have a box to ship the cup in, and I will not be shipping it in an envelope so that the UPS can break it. So, yeah, I went ahead and sent out pretty much almost everything else I had made except for that. And I wanted to remake Wolfpack's plaque because I noticed it was off center and it looked weird, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna redo it. She's gonna have to wait. She won't care. She got her fancy new haircut. Like, my dad calls and he's like, "Did you see Wolfpack's new haircut?" I'm like, no, Papa, I didn't. Like, why are you gossiping right now? Like, seriously. And he's like, "Well, she got her haircut." And I'm like, "Okay, what's wrong with her haircut?" And he's like, "Well, nothing. She just got her haircut." And this was Saturday, so he was calling anyways. But this was like after all the shenanigans, and he was like, "Did you happen to see her haircut?" I'm like, "No, Papa, I didn't see it." He's like, "I didn't think you saw it. You didn't comment on it. You can at least comment on it." I'm like, "I didn't see it, y'all." I was getting fussed at for nothing. My parents are settling in just fine to their new place. Papa says he is officially home. He got his first couple of packages in the mail, from Amazon, of course, because Papa's an Amazon freak. Which, anybody else addicted to Amazon? Speaking of that, okay, so for those of y'all who don't know, Pippa Brown, okay, Pippa she's Irish, I think she lives in Australia. Look, I live in the USA, okay? I don't know nothing about any other websites outside of the USA. Why? Because I was born and raised in the USA. I was only out of the USA for maybe, I don't know, a couple months or something when I was a baby. Other than that, like, I've been in the USA for as far as my tiny memory can remember. Okay, so Pippa's birthday's coming up. I think it's the 15th of September. So if you're, a subscriber of Pippa Brown, make sure to tell her happy birthday and make her feel all in her feelings about, the fact that you love her and support her and all that good stuff. So I love Pippa. Pippa's somebody who's always supported my channel. She's part of my Patreon, the whole 9 yards. Love her little daughter, Sophie. She was, the one video I watched of hers, her daughter, Sophie, was fussing because she wanted a slice of pizza or something. So now I keep telling Pippa to give that baby some pizza. But yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I want to get Pippa something for her birthday. So I go, and if you don't remember, and I don't know if Marissa's doing it this year, and I know Marissa doesn't watch my videos, so I'm going to have to contact Marissa and be like, "Hey, are you doing the Secret Santa thing this year?" I thought that was a really good program, minus the one asshat that didn't give Rachel Ray her gift. That was actually a really cool program. Now, I don't usually do things in the community, because I'm always somehow drug in the drama if I do that. Just the fact that I'm purely breathing, I somehow get drug in the drama. I was alerted to some drama this weekend, and I was like, look, I don't know nothing. I ain't did nothing. I don't talk to nobody. It's the reason I don't talk to nobody. It's the reason I don't participate in stuff in the community. I don't care what's going on. Don't put me in it. I don't care. So if you see the drama or you've heard about it, I don't care. I don't want to know. That has nothing to do with me. Nothing. I don't remember half of what they're talking about anyways. So if you see it, don't even come at me with it. I don't even care. So I'm sitting there and I'm wondering if Marissa's going to do the Secret Santa thing again, which what it was Elfster is a website where you can sign up to do Secret Santas, and you randomly get selected to be picked with certain people, and then you buy your Secret Santa a gift. I thought it went well last year, and I met a really cool lady, and she lives in Pennsylvania, somewhere close to where I used to live. So I was wondering if she was doing that again, but then I remember there's wish list on Elfster, because I always go on there to see if there's anything that Rachel has put on new, because I always try to find little knickknacks or something to do nice for Rachel. She goes through it, y'all. Some of her comments, y'all, are ridiculous, and I be feeling so bad for her. So I try to cheer her up and stuff. So I'm like, hold up, I think Pippa was on this app with us. So I go over and look at Pippa's Elfster stuff, and I'm like, oh, she does have her stuff up on Elfster. So I'm looking around, I'm poking around to see what she wants, you know what I mean? And I find something, and it takes me, now I'm on my phone, okay? It takes me to Amazon, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be an arm and a leg, because, yeah, shipping out of country, yeah, I don't know about anybody else, but shipping out of country, I think the one small package I sent off a diamond painting, that's what it was. I sent off a diamond painting. It weighed 2 pounds, 6 ounces, and I paid $45 to send it. Good God. So I was like, okay, whatever I send her, I want to send it through Amazon, so it actually possibly can get to her house in time, which her birthday, which today, the day you're watching it, would be her birthday. So happy birthday, Pippa. But Yeah, so I'm like, okay, she's never gonna get this in time. It's fine, whatever. I place the order. I don't even think about it. I get a message, what, like the next day or the day after, saying that the item cannot be delivered to that address. Apparently, Australia is one of those weird places that they're not delivering a whole lot of mail to, and she lives in like, I don't. In my brain, she lives in a remote country all to herself because she lives in a place called Tasmania, and I'm like, that's not even a real place. Apparently, it's a real place. But they weren't shipping to her area. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to get stuff to her for her birthday? Well, one, obviously now I know it's not going to get there for her birthday. So I was freaking out. And then Rachel was like, well, why don't you just go and get something off the Amazon Australia website? And I'm like, the what? Now, again, remember, I live in the U.S. I don't know nothing about any of these other websites. I know, I just finally learned around Cal's birthday, which is Cal Crafts. I just finally realized around her birthday that there's a Amazon UK, okay? So I don't know these things. Like, I live in the US. I only know my websites. I don't pay attention to everybody else's stuff. Like, it's like the old saying goes, I'm not worried about everybody else's grass. I'm worried about watering my own grass, okay? So I don't worry about any of that other stuff. So I didn't know. And Rachel's like, yeah, why didn't you just go on the Australia Amazon and get her something? Y'all, I've never felt so dumb in my entire life. Rachel looks at me and she just kind of snickers and she's like, you didn't realize there was an Amazon UK or AU, did you? I'm like, no. She could have had her gift in time, but I'm a dingus. Sorry, Pippa. So she'll get it late, but she'll still get it. And I still have Patreon stuff to send to her. I didn't send it out today because I'm slow and I could not. I spent 20 minutes scouring my house trying to find Jeremy Fryrear's address. Why? Because I didn't want to have to ask him because I literally have just sent him packages. And for some reason, I cannot find his bloody address. So I'm like looking through all my cards. I have a little drawer that I keep all the cards that I've ever received from subscribers and fans. I keep it all in a little drawer in my room. I'm like throwing everything out of this drawer because Mr. Coffee's like, well, I'll go to the post office if you get the box ready for me. And I'm like, okay. So I'm throwing stuff around. I'm hitting small children and dogs. And I'm like, where is this? She's like, Maggie's like standing behind me. She's like, Mommy, you gave me a paper cut. I'm like, don't stand there. Couldn't find his address, so I'm gonna have to like be embarrassed and be like, hey Jeremy, I know I've sent you so many things in the past, but could you hand me your address one more time because I'm slow and I lost it. So yeah, there's that. But apparently she was standing behind me and I went to go chuck one of the envelopes and it cut her finger when she went to go put her arms up to protect her face. But she's all right. She's all right though. She has like a little paper cut like across these two fingers. She's fine. She's fine. I don't know how the thing opened like a ninja. And right as she went to go block her face, the paper just went slice, like a ninja slice, like it was a samurai sword, but it was really an envelope from a Christmas card. Nothing says Merry Christmas like a ninja Christmas card. Either way. So yeah, that's been my week. If you guys can't tell, Miss Coffee's had no coffee today. I'm always off my A game whenever I have to get up for school with the kids because I never know when exactly to make my coffee. I don't want to make it first thing in the morning, but then I don't want to make it too late in the afternoon and then be drinking on it until dinner. So like I made it at a decent time where I was able to like, you know, actually drink and enjoy my cup of coffee. And it was funny because my Alexa's on the fritz right now. So she keeps randomly doing things, which I'm glad that she's been quiet for like the last hour because she keeps randomly playing movies. And I was talking to somebody this morning. I talked to Jen this morning. I haven't talked to her in forever, so it was nice to talk to her. But I was talking to somebody. I don't remember who it was. I said something, and then all of a sudden, my Alexa starts going haywire and starts playing Mad Men. And I said something about my channel, and it starts playing Mindful Monday. And I'm like, as relaxing as that is, you know, I go to turn it off and Maggie's like, Mommy, can we please listen to that? I really like that. So that made me feel a little bit better about myself that at least if nobody else enjoyed it, Maggie enjoys Mindful Monday. She always does. She likes the music from it. She's one of those people. Oh, real quick update before I get going. For those folks worried about Killian. Killian is doing just fine. His face is healing up nicely. He goes to the vet tomorrow, which is Tuesday, which will be the day you're seeing this. He goes to the vet to get a checkup just to make sure that everything's going okay and that the scarring and like just to make sure his face is healing up like it should and he's not going to be like having any more issues. Again, thank you to everyone who recommended the pill pocket. That was genius. He absolutely loves it. I have to order more. That just reminds me of it. So yeah, but he's doing great. Mr. Coffee started a new class. He really likes it. It's not as strenuous as his last class was, which is great. So he's able to get his assignments done a lot easier. So yeah, I think that's an update on just about everybody. Orion's still Orion. He still loves school. He just doesn't like the fact that he doesn't get to go to school until those 3 cases of corona were found at his school, and now he's fine with being at home. So yeah, there's that. But with that said, folks, thank you guys so much for coming with me on this crazy journey of my life. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got a couple of chuckles in at the laughter and, you know, whatever of my life, whatever this is. There's a monster fly on my window on the outside. I thought it was on the inside. I was about to throw a whole dog at it. I'm sorry, y'all. My brain, I haven't had enough caffeine today to deal with this stuff. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please put those down in the comment section below, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Again, I don't know if this canvas is still sold out or not, but this is from Run Far. It is the Fox. I'm going to work on this until I finish it because I really want to work on a square, and it's a really good square. There's no popping drills. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to work on this, and then we'll get to neon. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. With that said, always remember, wash your hands, don't touch your face, keep your 6 feet, and always try. Be kind, be courteous, be cool.